Okay, I hope all of you can see me, hear me. I'm obviously checking. Okay, I'm live. That's good news. Okay, so Jack, you're excited. I'm also pretty much excited to meet you. I'm checking your comments live chat when it comes on my mobile phone while I'm discussing. So let me first of all thank. Good evening, Jack. First of all, let me thank InsideIIM to give me this opportunity to talk to you. So I hope that whatever time that we are spending together will be fruitful. Hi, Himanshu. I hope that your CAT preparation is going on really well. And the topic that I'm asked to discuss is about what to do in 25 days, which is actually a little, I would say a little difficult to sort of have a very general discussion around this particular topic, because each one of you is having a very different problem. Some of you are by and large sorted with all the three sections. Some of you have problem with one section. Some of you have problem with two sections. Within one section, maybe there's a lot many fluctuation. So you've got all these issues. And then there might be certain things that are common. I'll address all that. So we've got Shivansh, hi, Himanshu, hi, Sayan Bose, hi, Sharad, and Gargi, hello. We have also got some questions before, which is there. Thanks, Himanshu. Your analysis mock is very helpful. Okay. So what are the problems that you guys are facing? Any issues that you guys are facing? I'm going to open my whiteboard here and actually list down the things that I'm hearing. So issues, concerns, if you can throw that to me, then I can actually look at it. And so I've got somebody saying that the reading speed is low. Reading speed is 100 words per minute. What to do at this point in time? What else is so someone is saying that it's pretty much stressed in the last 25 days. That's something that I can hear. I don't know how many of you are absolutely searched the last 25 days. And you've got low mock scores at this point in time, which is very frustrating. Can life change? That's another one. So lot of QA left. And now what is, I think that the topics in QA still left, what to do. That's sort of another question that I can having. And I'm guessing that DLR is a big pain, getting 15 marks in DLR. So DLR, I'm stuck at about 15, which is about 5 questions. So what to do? So I've got, so I think that all of you will have certain problem issues, but let me start by addressing this thing that I am hoping. So I got 213 NMAT, feeling demotivated for CAT. So I saying that there are a lot of stress, demotivation. There are sort of emotional sort of issues that I can see. So there is one other thing that is very interesting. NMAT score is kind of low. Therefore, what will happen in CAT is sort of another question that I can see here. I'm just noting stuff down. So we've got issue with dense passages. What to do with that? Issue with that. As lack of time, can you suggest specific past CAT paper for DLR? Okay, so we have got that question of DLR. So why am I losing my hold at this point in time? A lot of mathematical error, how to revise. Another question is revision. And I think that some of you are saying that life is going good, but suddenly I'm seeing a dip in my score and I'm getting sort of frustrated in that dip. Anyone here who's having the feeling? So things were going fine, and maybe in one section off late, I've seen sort of a scores kind of dipping, and that's creating problems. And we have got issues of silly mistakes. I'm just noting this down. Whatever I'm hearing, I'm just noting this down. Okay, that's what I'm doing at this point in time. I will, of course, hopefully, as the session goes, I should be able to address all these things. So number one, what I would want to kind of start with is to say that I'm hoping that you guys have not given up on CAT. At least you guys are attending the session, which means I'm hoping that you guys have not given up on CAT. That is something irrespective of whatever is the issue that you're having, whatever is the issue that is happening, there is no reason as to why I should give up for the CAT. The fundamental reason that I'm saying is not just IIM. There are many good colleges that accept sort of the CAT scores, right? And that's the reality that we have. So we know, at least I can safely say, from the 95th percentile onwards, you can get some good colleges. There are even colleges that you can pick up 90th percentile where you want to join the college. That's a different issue completely. And then you have the 99th percentile mark, and somebody would want to look at the 99.5 percentile. So the first thing is that there are a lot of colleges, right, which is the non-IIMs, which don't even consider sectional cutoff. Right. So if you still have one problem with one section, yet you're able to hit high percentile, then you will still have colleges that is going to pick you up. So the first thing that I would want to kind of focus on is to say that please don't give up on the CAT. So you've got scenes but going away suddenly from the last couple of more percentile. I have looked at that. Start reading the passage sometime, lose concentration. Okay, we'll address all of that. So at the very least, I'm basically putting this overall score based on last year. 90th percentile score was roughly about 60. That's a sales score. 95th percentile score overall was 72 marks. 99th percentile score was 97 marks. And 99.5 percentile score was 107 marks. This actually translate, at the very minimum, this actually translate into what? 20 questions net correct. That's probably 7 per section. This is what? 24 questions net correct. That's actually 8 per section. This is what, about 33 odd questions net correct. That's actually 11 per section. And when you look at this CAT in this particular fashion, you actually see that the challenge with respect to CAT is not very high. Yet we obviously have issues and problem. I think if I have to just sit down, is it not possible for you to get 8 marks, 8 questions correct in 40 minutes? Is it not possible to get this? And I'm guessing, yes, Aditya, I've looked at the Google response as well. I have it with me. I've opened it. I'll pick up those questions as well. So as you go along, right? So I've written this here because the Google questions I already have. So that's something that I have with this. Okay. So at the end of the day, one of the things that you would want to believe, I don't know what percentile you are targeting. You're looking at about 40 minutes getting this seems to be very realistic. Yet for some reason, things are not happening sort of in the CAT. And we have got this 25 days, whatever be our target kind of percentile, we have this 25 days. Is it possible for us to achieve those targets is a question. So I would want to first believe that it is actually possible. So let's start from the very basic. I am basically guessing, and you guys can say yes to this. I am basically guessing that whatever happens during the test, whatever score that you're doing during the test, post the test, when you relook at the question, I'm just going to look at post the test. When you relook at the question, whatever score that you could have got, my gut feeling is that this score is much, much higher than the score that you're getting in the test. And this score would be probably aligned to your target already. So which means when you have taken the test, after the mock test, when you look at sort of your post-test score, you actually see that you could have done much more. You made a lot many silly mistakes. You're looking at this particular DLR set, you're saying that how did I miss this one? You're looking at the quant question, how did I miss this question? How did I make the silly mistake? Oh, this particular passage, what was I thinking marking answer choice B to this particular question? What was going on in my test? Post-test, we actually see that we do have the potential to do well in the CAT, and I'm guessing that would be the case. If that is the case, let me know with a yes. So if let's say I can see Lakshmi saying true, I'm saying I can see I think Brata, I don't know how to pronounce the name, is also saying very true. If that is the story, right? If that is your story, then what is that? Now the question that you ask yourself in the last 25 days, right? The question that you ask yourself in 25 days, what should be my focus? Is there anything extra that I need to study? Is an issue with the study is not, to me, for many cases, the issue is not, at least this is the last 25. To me, the way in which I look at it is in the last 25 days, issue is that if I can already, or if I already have the capability of getting a score, I don't know, maybe let's say score of 90, I may have the capability of getting the score of 90, and in the examination I end up getting the score only 50, then me studying more, how is that going to improve this situation? It doesn't. So I think the 25 days need to be spent asking yourself, thinking about, is it actually possible to get the score that I can, right? And let me address some of the questions. I'll also address some of the questions that I've seen also in the form. I will also request Arpita to just post those questions on the chat box here in Zoom, so I can quickly refer to those questions as well. So the first thing that I would want to address is how many of you are here stressed about these 25 days? I think you're almost going. So just type me. You're saying that they're stressed about the whole thing. And you've tried everything. You're frustrated. You're stressed. You don't know. You're kind of getting lost in sort of the journey, and nothing sort of is happening, and you're already worried. You don't know what the hell is happening. So all those concerns that some of you may have. So it is understandable. One of the things that is absolutely understandable with respect to this concern or frustration or stress that is happening is that you in your mind, you have less days with you to change your scenario, less days with you in your mind. That's what you're thinking. And then you know that you really don't know whether I can change those things in those next 25 days. I think that is probably bringing a lot amount of stress. The closer that you're getting, you're trying too many different things and nothing happened. I think the first thing that you should remember and remind yourself is that you already have the potential to get the score that you want. You're already getting it. You already have it. And all you have to do is forget about what happened in the mock test or what happened in the mock test. Forget about whatever happened in the mock test. What matters is on the day of the test, you just have to be in your best behavior. If that happens on the day of the CAT, you are in the best behavior. I know that if let's say that happens in the CAT, everything changes, right? So everything changes to the positive. And to me, a lot of these 25 days is about preparing for that particular mindset that I want to be in the best behavior. So the first starting point, right? First starting point in terms of all these questions that people are asking, in terms of mock scores, or I'm not able to deal with the NMAT went bad, what to do? I'm still stuck in something. There are topic that is left. These are all stuff of the past. And I think we are looking at the best thing that we can do in the next 25 days, knowing the fact that I already know a lot many stuff. And that stuff is about it. And Adibov is asked this question on the Google form, that is CAT more about strategy and temperament than covering topics? If so, how much can mock test taking and analyzing them improve one score if someone takes numerous mocks in these few days? Okay, Anubhav is asking that question. I would believe that this point in time, it is about temperament. I don't want to use the hyphen of word called strategy. It is about how well you can behave in this particular paper, and that's something that that's the reality of it. So let me start by kind of talking about talking something in sort of a little general stuff. Okay, so let's take us to why is it that we are screwing up. Let me start with what happens with respect to QA, and I'm going to make a story, a picture in terms of what happens in QA. Tell me whether it is. So your favorite topic is, let's say, arithmetic, and most of you have not done anything beyond the topic called arithmetic. Let's say algebra maybe, but for some reason there are certain topics that you have not touched. And knowing you've consciously looked at arithmetic, because out of the 22 questions, if you look at the past CAT, maybe about 10, 11 questions are coming from arithmetic. What is then happening in the examination is that you have made whatever QA, the CAT is telling you, I'm going to give you 22 questions in QA. Do these 22 questions, do it well, and come to IIM. You are telling CAT, you keep the 11 questions with you. I don't need your 11 questions at all. What algebra? I don't need your algebra. I don't need your geometry. I don't need it. I'm going to just focus on, you have now made the 22 questions that the CAT gave you. You have converted that 22 question paper into 11 question paper by your own choice. You did that by your own choice. And then what happens is that there are questions which are easy, medium, and difficult across topic: arithmetic, algebra, geometry, modern maths, numbers, whatever. It's not that all 11 questions is going to be easy. Maybe 5 would be easy. Let's say 3 would be medium, and probably the remaining would be difficult. About 3 will be difficult. Let's say that. What, and then maybe there is algebra, there may be 3 questions, easy, 1 medium and 2 difficult, and let's say there is 2 easier, 1 easy, 1 easy, whatever. Let's look at something like that as your paper. What you're now doing is that you're looking at the 5 easy question. You are spending time in medium questions and probably getting confused. You are spending time in these questions, difficult questions, because you have told yourself, you have already told yourself that you have created a CAT paper, which is not designed by CAT. You have created a paper in your head. You are today I'm starting by saying, I do understand that some of you would not have touched, let's say, a chapter in geometry or a modern maths or a number, but I'm sure that you've gone through it at least, right? You've gone through those things. I'm not asking you at this point in time to unnecessarily cover everything. So I'm not saying that start doing geometry and cover everything, but I'm saying definitely this. I'm definitely saying this, that you look at certain questions, there might be a very easy algebra question that based on your knowledge in your 10th standard, you can actually solve it. You are missing out on those questions. That's probably what is happening in the QA section. I don't know. Picture. Let me know if I have captured that idea. If more or less accurately, I'm guessing. And then you get whatever score that you get, 14, 15, 16. And then when you come back and look at the other question, you suddenly realize that there is 2 questions, geometry that could have done, 1 question here that could have done. This number question was fine. I'm not asking you to pick up any new topics. I'm not asking you to do anything. I think that what you must do while taking the test, whatever test that you take, whether it's mock or otherwise, you should give a look at all the questions and make sensible decisions when it comes to this QA section. And this goes with every single sort of section, right? My feeling, so what is that? What is that you can do with arithmetic? One, of course, is to, for example, there are many concepts that let's say that you don't know. I don't know whether 25 days is, you may already made the decision, so let's live with that decision, right? You made it. Well, let's chuck it. Now there's no point revisiting it. I don't think that at this point in time, you start something absolutely fresh and try and learn stuff and then hope that you can actually solve this question. Let's not do that, right? Let's not do that. But there are many concepts that you're absolutely comfortable with. If there are concepts that you're absolutely comfortable with, you visiting that particular concept that you're very comfortable with is helping you do what? You're spending time on a topic that you're absolutely comfortable with. How is that helping you more? So I think this one that is in medium, sometimes you are sort of getting confused. Sometimes you have an issue. I think those sort of are the kind of topics that you really want to revise. Those are the type of questions that you want to revise. And I think that what is important is not to do anything new, but go back and do the stuff that you already did. You've got enough mock tests that you probably would have taken. You have seen the past CAT paper. Go back and revise those concepts that you know, but sometimes you tend to forget. I'm sure that you have created some formula book or something. Go back and revise those things. When I say revise, is redo those questions again. Once or twice. Revise those things, and hopefully saying that not just the easy ones. I would want to pick a little more medium ones, 1 or 2 here and there on the topic that I'm reasonably comfortable with. If you already decided that I have cut down my CAT, I'm not looked at, let's say, a couple of sort of topics. You need to, all the topic that you know, whatever is a medium sort of concepts or a concept that you're iffy about, I think that those strengthen those really well, instead of probably trying and doing something new. That's probably my recommendation with respect to this. I will also recommend that if you have the time, I don't know if you have the time, I hope that you have looked at the past CAT papers. The questions from, I believe, the 1990 CAT to 99 questions are actually very much aligned to the recent CAT that you've seen. And then you have the 2017 paper and till 2021, those questions. At least just look at those questions and hope that something very similar or some concept of very similar is probably going to come. That's something that I will strongly recommend with respect to you doing arithmetic, is that when you take the test, Be completely agnostic. Whatever be your favorite topic, right? This is what happens, right? I think the mocks that you've suffered the most are the mocks wherein your favorite area did not have too many easy questions. And the easy questions came from an area which is not your favorite area. And what you were behaving in the particular test, you were adamant. You were adamant. It's like cricket, right? You know that you can hit. So let's say one bowler is you want to hit spinner, but that spinner is doing really well. And the bowler that you don't like is giving a lot of full toss. But you are not responding to what you see on the screen. And how can that be? How is that we are having presupposition when we started taking the test? I have to be absolutely agnostic, or I don't have sort of any specific criteria on any of the questions when it comes to arithmetic. So this is how I look at it, right? So when I see a question on the screen, two things go to my mind, right? Do I know the concept? Don't I know the concept? If I don't know the concept, good. I'll just move to the next question. If I know the concept, intuitively you'll know. Can I knock it off in this time, or is it going to take a little extra time? If you believe that it's going to take extra time, so you can always tell yourself that I'm going to look at the questions later and keep moving on. So you say, so you keep moving on, and because every single time that you spend, you're being very productive. You will get questions. What are we looking when it comes to quant, right? What are we looking when it comes to our QA? What kind of scores are we looking? So let's say that if I want to look at something like a 90th percentile in QA, last year was about 18 marks. That's about 6 questions. That's about 90th percentile. Then if you're looking like something like a 95th percentile last year, that was about 24 marks. That was about 8 questions. If you want to hit the 99th percentile, then we need about 11 questions. But I'm sure that I can find 8 questions out of 22. I can. It is actually possible. I'm sure that I have all the knowledge, but that is not happening because you're getting stuck in some question. I have have this thing that, so let me actually play a scenario, right? Let me just give you a scenario. Imagine your friend. You have a friend who's a girl, who's married, right? Calls you one day and tells you that her husband drank a lot, came home, and they had a small fight. And the husband slapped her. Slapped her. And she's calling and asking you, what should she do? Should she leave? Should she leave him? What would be your advice? You know that the guy is otherwise good. This is the first time he has done it. But if you ask psychologists, they would say that you should leave someone when the first abuse happens. Otherwise, you are never leaving. You should leave someone when the first abuse happens. Otherwise, you're never leaving. What is happening in your mock test, right? What is happening in your mock test? You have spent a lot of nights with arithmetic, favorite, algebra, whatever the topic. And you now see this question. And question did this to you. What should you do? You're not. What are you doing? You are getting stuck. You are getting stuck because of fear. What happens if I leave? What will society think? What will happen to my kids? What will happen to me? It is those fear that is asking you. You say that if I leave this question, what is the guarantee I'm going to get something from there? It is so the only thing that you're telling yourself in QA, because you have studied enough, how much more are you going to study? I have this question, right? You have spent, my feeling is that you would have probably solved some 500 questions of maths on arithmetic or algebra, 500, 300 question. If after solving, let's say 200 questions on a particular topic, 500 questions, if your score has not improved in the test, what is the guarantee that the next 500 your score is going to improve, or next 100 what score is going to do? What is going to change by the studying extra? So let's go back and reflect and say that if my behavior is right, so if you are someone whose gap between the scores are very high, I think that at this point in time you can take section test and build this confidence that I would want to be a strong test taker. And other thing that I'll strongly recommend that you do with respect to QA is to revise. That is QA, right? When it comes to DLR, my gut feeling that all of you can do one set. This is my gut feeling. In 40 minutes, you somehow will manage, if you're able to do 6 sets, 6 questions, you manage about 18 marks, maybe about 12 to 15 is what happens. So you're probably stuck in sort of the 80th percentile. If you want to reach something like a 95th percentile in DLR, you would want to look at about 24 questions. That's the 95th percentile. So 24 marks, sorry. That's about 8 questions. If you want to hit the 99th percentile in DLR, you're looking at anything about, again, close to about 34 questions, which is about 11 questions. If you want to hit even higher, you're looking at much more. So you're looking at 2 sets, 3 sets. I am basically sure that out of the 4 tests, if you look at the barring maybe 1 set here and there, you have the capability of solving DLR set, right? And what is sometimes happens, what happens sometimes in your examination is that you look at 1 set of DLR and then you start doing something, and in the middle you're hurrying stuff, and in the middle you've got lost somewhere and you started panning, you're looking at the timer, you have good 40 minutes just to solve these 4 sets. I don't know how many sets CAT is going to give next year, this time, but you have got enough time to solve these 4 sets. So what I would recommend for DLR is that go back to all your mocks and look at those sets which sort of iffy sets, resolve. If you have not done the sets from 2017 to 2021 CAT and solve those sets, I think there is this mentality that I've seen largely with us, right? When I say us, we mean Indians. The mentality that I've seen largely with us is that we are people who hoard a lot of material. You should look at how, for example, somebody in a country like US or one of those countries prepare for exam like GMAT. They don't have too many content. There is a lot of copyright sort of issues, that there are not too many content. For those who have taken GMAT, you know that there are only very few sort of material that is available, and each are very costly. I know, and therefore, how do people prepare at that point in time? So there is no concept of, after solving a set once, there is no concept that I've finished. We say I've finished. I finished what? Did I finish learning from the set? Is there no additional way to look at this particular test? We don't go back and solve the set once again because we believe that we want to look at something new. We keep on picking new stuff. And again, I go back and ask this question I've solved. I think that at this point in time, my gut feeling that some of you would have looked at about 30 mock tests. Each of these mock tests will have, just counting mocks, so 25 mocks at least. Let's count 25 mocks. I've already exposed myself to 100 sets and my scores are not improved. What is the guarantee that another 100 will improve my score? What are you going to do differently? I can also vouch for this, that these mocks that you've taken is that, and some of you, I'm saying, not all of you, some of you, these mock tests, 4, every single mock, you're probably not solving 2 sets. I don't know how many of you actually gone back and solved the set once again, learned from this set, noted it, and went back again, solved it once again. Because at the end of the day, there are only, so look at this. If you look at the CAT 20s, look at the history of CAT, right? Of LRDI history from 1919 till today, I can see that there are only about what? About these 10, 12 ideas which are floating in different versions. There's these ideas are floating. These are certain basic sort of ideas that keeps on floating, and different versions of that idea comes. Even if something that looks to be very new, it is still those basic sort of construct of logical reasoning sets that you actually see. But what I have done in my prep, I am just looking at new, without actually extracting learning. And now is the time to consolidate stuff, right? You've got 25 days. You want to build. So how is that? I'm building my confidence. Imagine this. You start looking at, let's say 2018, 19, 20, 21 sets. Every single DLR set you have solved from the CAT. You know how to solve every single DLR set. You know you can nail CAT sets of the past. Now in your mind, what is happening? I can nail the CAT questions in the future. I can do it. And all I need is that on the day things to change. So I would want to go back and not do stuff which is new, but go back and purify the old. That's what I want you guys to do with respect to DLR. And that's also what I want to do with respect to QA. Don't do stuff which is new. Purify the old. Learn from the old And that's what you need to look at from here. And these two areas. Quickly talk about when it comes to sort of VARC. I've seen people having. Is there any questions with I've seen? So people are talking about dense passages. Reading speed is 100 speed. Reading speed is 100 speed is 100 words per minute is not a problem at all. It's not a problem at all. Let's look at certain behaviors. This is a behavior that we do with respect to VARC. I know that there are 3 passages given: RC passage 1, RC passage 2, RC passage 3, RC passage 4, and VA questions, right? I know that some of you is not able to look at all the questions. You have to, let's say, first decide on one RC passage to solve. So let me ask this question to you. How are you make the I've heard, I was taking this session, and I heard someone that person spends 4 minutes to decide which RC passage to leave. 4 minutes. So let me ask this question. How are we even deciding which RC? I believe that that's a fruitless exercise. For example, there are too many variables. RC passage contains 4 paragraphs or 5 paragraphs, contains 4 questions. Each of these questions contains 4 options. Now, the paragraph can be sort of complex, but within that, maybe only the first paragraph is complex. The rest paragraph actually is very easy. So are you going to read the complete passage to decide? And the second is that whatever be the questions, inference or otherwise, that does not necessarily mean the question is going to be difficult. It even boils down to the options. The easy paragraph can have easy option, easy paragraph can have tough option. How are you even going to decide? Whatever decision that you're going to make with respect to that RC passage of which to solve, which to leave, I'm sure that you are basically making a rough decision. You are basically told yourself that philosophy is something that I don't like. But you have spent the last 20, 25 years reading so many things, learning so many things in your life. You are telling yourself you're not capable to read for 5 minutes and don't understand what's there. You've already started reading something, telling your mind that I'm not going to understand. How will not understand? I mean, and they say that passage, maybe you just need to have understanding the passage and go look at the question. And I'm spending 4 minutes just to decide which passage to leave. So what is I'm spending? I might as well read one more passage, no? So the issue that is happening with respect to RCs, right? And I'm getting back and speaking this reading speed, which is okay, 100 words per minute, fine. So you've got 500 words passages. So you will take about 5 minutes. No problem. If you understood this passage, out of these 4 questions, your chances of actually getting these questions right is higher, right? Second of all, individually, each question may not be easy. Some question may be easy, some question may be difficult. The problem again happens. I've read this passage once. I've understood sort of this passage. I've come to this question. I'm getting confused. Then I go back to the passage. And why do I go back to the passage? Because I have read this passage. So I don't want to waste time. Or I don't want to, I don't know what the logic is. Then you come back to the question once again. You're still confused. And why are you still stuck in there? The question is why are you still stuck there? Because you read this passage. What is that logic? You move on. I'm sure that in scenarios, right? Imagine a scenario. RC passage, 4 questions. You end up spending, all you need is to get stuck in a couple of questions. And you spend 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Before you know it, you spend about 10 minutes in the passage. And why don't we leave the question the same issue? It's about fear. It's about that particular sort of the fear that we have with the reading competence. So how do I tackle this, right? So one of course is that I'm really hoping that you've gone through the past CAT paper, purify the old, look at what really is a challenge. Maybe the mock test that you're taking is creating much more difficult options. But look at the past paper and see if you can actually look at, okay, those are the kind of challenges. CAT papers don't give too much unnecessary challenge. Other thing that I can really look at is a VA. There are 8 questions in VA. 3 paragraphs, just jumbled questions. Sorry, 3 paragraph jumbled question, 3 paragraph summary question, 2 odd sentence question, 24 marks worth of questions. I can vouch for the fact that if you spend, let's say, a week and a half, you can get about 12 to 15 marks in VA. It is possible. A lot of us, I think many of you who is having low in sort of score in reading comprehension probably is also having low scores in VA. All I need to do is pick up the VA questions from CAT 2017, 2021. Solve, learn from each of them. I'm saying learn, teach yourself. Imagine you are a teacher. The students are sitting in front of you. One of the students is you, and you stand there and teach them, learn from them. One amazing thing about all doing a CAT passage at this point in time is that you just can go to YouTube, type, and there are so many people, you have answered so many things. And go back and look at the questions that you've that you've done, and what you have to sort of, how do I put this? The problem that happens with VRC is that, unlike, for example, QA, where prior knowledge is needed to answer the question, what happens in VRC is reading comprehension is your knowledge that is required to answer the 4 questions is basically from that 5 minutes that you read the passage. And how do we read the passage? You know what our purpose is when we read the passage? The purpose, the agenda that we have is to finish reading. That's our agenda. We are worried about timer. We are worried about this. Entire mind is, I somehow have to finish reading it. If that is a purpose, how will you understand the passage? Your purpose should be that I've got enough time, 40 minutes. I just have to ensure that whatever time that I've spent, it's okay. I'll read at the pace of my comprehension, understand as much as possible. Look at question. If a question confuses me, then I'll just move on to the next one. And then mark as many questions as I can. So in that 40 minutes, it has to be productive. What do you have to do in the next 25 days, especially for each of these sections, is to be a champion test taker. Right? Yeah, and I'm not asking you to experiment too many things. Don't experiment. Keep your life absolutely simple. There is nothing there. It's life is very simple. There is no great strategy involved in CAT. You have something on your screen. When you have something on your screen, your life is on the screen. Nothing else matters. Past doesn't matter. Future doesn't matter. That moment matters. You're looking at that particular question. You are giving undue attention. So you are giving complete attention to that particular question with the objective of getting 3 marks from the question. You're reading the question. You read that set, whatever that is, DLR set, QS. And then at the end of it, things will happen. Either I can solve it, I cannot. If I cannot solve, I'm moving on. If I can solve, I've solved. That's all there is to it. The real time waste that happens, your worst behavior, is that if you don't know how to solve and you think you've studied this concept, if you think and do it, you end up sitting and spending more and more time, and then mistake. And why is silly mistake happening? Silly mistake is happening because you have created arbitrary sort of time per question in the mind. Your arbitrary question, you're reading stuff fast. I have to get the 3 marks from the question that I see on the screen. That's all there is to it. So one thing that I would recommend, therefore, in terms of if I look at the schedule, right? So schedule that I'm thinking of, let's say 25 days that we have. What I want you guys to do is that somebody said week is 7 days. Our week is 5 days. We have got 5-day week. So week 1, which is 5 days. Week 2, 5 day, week 3, 5 day, week 2, Friday, and we have got week 5, which is 5 day. Largely, I want to keep it chill the last 5 days. I don't want to do too many stuff. It will be like one day. Sometimes some people will have to travel one day before because your venue is somewhere else. Last 5 days, and then each of these sort of these week 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you can maybe decide. I will take let's say day 1. I'm going to take. I'm looking at a mock day. So I want to implement sort of this behavior and then do necessary analysis. Maybe after a couple of days, making one more mock day could be something like that you could do. And dedicate sort of create a task which say that, okay, I have got a QA day, I've got a sort of a DLR day, and then on a daily basis, you keep your reading happening, right? So I'm saying that reading stuff for this one, or maybe one day keep stuff simple, okay? And you list down, for example, list down certain tasks that you want to achieve. Right, list down tasks. I would want, if you have not gone through questions, I would want to go back and look at sort of this question and write down tasks. So this, for example, these 5 days, next 5 days, my one task is to revise the concept here. List down tasks and keep doing these tasks. And irrespective of whatever is the score that you're getting in the mock, right? Irrespective of whatever the score, it doesn't, at the end of the day, what matters is what's going to happen on the D-Day, right? That's what matters. And every single test that you are taking, every single test that you know for a fact, imagine the effort that you put, right? Imagine how much of stuff that you studied, you've learned, it is there in your head. You have put in study. It may not be reflecting with respect to the score that you see in the mocks, but it's there. It is not going to go away. The concept that you've learned, the stuff that you know, the things that you've read, it is there. You've got enough stuff in your head to get there. So instead of sort of exposing yourself to sort of new things, keep look at, obviously mock is anyway new stuff is happening with respect to mock. Okay, beyond that, I think past CAT paper and other one is what you have to look at, right? And then other thing that you want to do is that, okay, you should sort of do all this like a machine. This is, you have to tell yourself, I understand that a lot of you have got issues and sort of problems and concerns and worries and stress, and those are part and parcel of the life, right? So you are stressed because it's very important to you. But I think what you should look at this is simply your duty. This is your duty to do. You guys decided that you will want to change your situation, change your scenarios to do this. Please understand. There are a lot of good colleges, right? You have got, for example, if you look at FMS will convert the test into 40, 30, 30. VRC is 40, DLR is 30, QA is 30. It might change. You still have a ZAT happening. Please do take that test on ZAT. It is an amazing test to take. You still have it. You've got IIFT. The CAT itself opens door to so many colleges, so many of them. And you may have certain criteria saying that I would want to only look at top 5, top 10. Yes, fair enough. But for a vast majority of you, and I'm sure that you should be okay with going to the top 30, top 25 colleges in this country. So just don't really give up. Give up on this particular test. There is no need to give up. What are they giving up for? What is that? What is that you're giving this up for? And if you are if you're worried, if you're stressed, then you're worried and stressed about it. And just do it as duty, right? And I'm also assuming that this has been sort of, I think I'm not seeing the chat messages, but I can say for this, let's just this 6, 7, let's say 3 months, 4 months that you prepared for CAT, right? Let's go one by one. Have you not learned so many things that you learned just by doing our reading comprehension passages? You imagine the day that you started your preparation, and how let's say that some of you did not like passage on sociology, and you are at this point in time, you're comfortable with the passage. You know that you have changed. You did not own lot many the learning concept in DLR, yet you are here and you have changed. Why are you questioning yourself? And there is no need to question yourself. Change the behavior that you have. Keep your life simple. I'm not asking you to change behavior, right? I'm just asking you to be your best behavior, which is to say that I would just focus on the question on the screen. I will not worry about anything else. I'll make my best decision and leave it to the IIM for the rest. And that, I think, is what you'll have to look at in the last 25 days, to me. I'll sort of pick up some questions that I can see. Let me actually start by looking whether I've addressed all the questions here. Reading speed, I said. low mock score is a concern. It doesn't matter. Right? Just look at your behavior. Topic in QA is still left. Stuck, okay. And if there are topic in QA still left, create a plan of action that you can finish as much as you can. I think that be sort of sensible, saying that if you have time, you can still do it. There's how many chapters are there? We're looking at 25 chapters in total. What else is there? 25 sort of chapter. Each chapter may take about 5 hours, 125 hours, maybe 4 hours, 100 hours. You still have 25 days. If you want to rock it, if you got all the time with you, it's about 4 hours per day. You can still do it. Right. But if your score in NMAT is low, so what? You got low score in NMAT does not mean that you're going to get a low score in CAT. Low score in NMAT, fine. One is done. You're looking at the next one. After this, we're going to take the SAT. I'm sure that you don't take other test. And that's what I'll probably pick up some more questions from the chat here, which I'll pick first, and I'll also look at the question that is coming from here. Hopefully, I can't see any of these questions. Wait a minute. All right, so let's look at some of these questions that has come here. What are the main topics to cover in QA and DLR in these days? Easily. So DLR, there's not such a topic. I would recommend that if you're looking at DLR, ensure that you have solved all the sets of CAT. Definitely 2017 on this. And that would see this kind of coverage. That should sort of get all the coverage. QA is what mostly arithmetic is what is asked, basic algebra questions. Again, go back and while you're prepping for the exam, do have a reference point with respect to the previous CAT. Makes a lot of sense. I have not been consistent in my prep. What can I do for quant and DLR? I already, if you've not been consistent in the past, let's forget about that. We are getting in the future. I have already addressed. I started late preparation for CAT, so I prepared only arithmetic portion in QA. Will that be enough to secure a decision? Technically, yes. I'm saying if you are solid in arithmetic, if you can get all the 11 questions or 10 questions correct, that's already 30 marks, which be yes. But it's going to be unlikely that you're going to solve all the 11 questions because there'll be some easy question. Maybe you'll be able to do about 5, 6. You probably will be stuck in about 15-ish marks, right? So I think that at this point in time, I think you still have time, right? You may want to pick up maybe algebra at least, one more sort of portion, and maybe figure out some jugaad way of solving other set of questions. So what you can probably do is that arithmetic, you focus on one more chapter and rest of them just solve the past few fast years papers, just solve them. I'm assuming that you have time with you. How to be consistent with BRC section? I'm not able to score consistently. One mock I get 95%, suddenly I get to 60. I think this all happens, Aditya, is just that you are either going with a lot of presupposition in the test. When you have BRC is bound to have a lot of fluctuation. Otherwise, some person who has read lot many stuff have a very consistent sort of, those who are 99.5 percentile has a very consistent stuff. The stuff will go up and down. It's all about how we are behaving in that particular test. But unfortunately, for reading comprehension, that 5 minutes of reading have to be very focused. You can reflect and ask yourself as to what you were doing on the mock. Did you take too many extra risks? Did you get lost somewhere in the middle of the passage? Yeah. Okay, so that's some of the questions. So let me actually pick some questions from here and address a few questions. So much worries, sir. I'm unable to do analysis properly. But that's a duty. So Takshi, it's your duty. Apna duty hai to do analysis. Just a task. Finish a task. So if you are worried about something, does not mean that I'll still go and brush my teeth. No, I will still live. So just give it a task. So let's look at. So I go by flow of question paper, and last 2 VA questions remain when the time ends. Fair enough, not an issue. So it's so long as you have done decently well in other thing. I think all you have to do is to do VA question. It's about, we need about 3 minutes, right? 3.5 minutes. Just reflect on. Is there any question that you honestly spend extra time? So for example, there is one question which is really confusing you. You probably are thinking that I probably spent 2 more minutes on this. If you can save this, I think that you're already there. I think YTBC. I think it's about just 3 minutes. I'm sure that from the remaining, whatever 22 questions, you definitely can save 3 minutes to look at the last 2 questions as well. Sir, I have a problem in answering critical reasoning questions. Please help. Now, critical reasoning questions, you're basically asking from the perspective of the CAT. It's like those. So whatever is the question that is asked in reading comprehension, whatever that the information that is needed to answer the question is there in the passage, no? So don't compartmentalize this question at this point in time saying inference. What does inference mean? Inference is something that is true based on the information given in the passage. Don't compartmentalize. There's a passage. Whatever be the way the question is asked, you have information in the particular passage, right? So I think at this point in time, that probably would be the best help that I can give you. Okay, suggest. So I have a backlog on 6th semester of BCom. Do I still have a chance in FMS and other B school? Oh, I don't think there's any problem with most of the schools. Sir, what should be the strategy? Get one set sure short correct in DLR. If you want one set sure short correct in DLR, spend the 40 minutes on one set. I think that you will get one set sure short, right? I'm sure that you have to just in the beginning, if you want to be absolutely certain, beginning spend some time, look at the 4 sets, figure out one set that you want to do. Aram se karo usko. Decide sort of shortlist about 2 sets that you want to solve, and then do it. And I'm sure that you'll be able to do 2 sets. My attempts in QA are really low. I'm taking a lot of time in solving a few questions. How should I practice now? I think that so if your attempts in QA is really low, it could be a lot of factors. Is it because you don't know the concept, or is it because if you say really low, so what you have to ask, what you have to sort of start by saying, I think who's asking this question? So Smriti, what you have to start by saying, Smriti, is that okay? Let's keep a realistic target. Let's assume that you're doing reasonably okay in the other 2 sections. Let's say that you would want to at least cross a 98th percentile cutoff range. That's my first target. To look at about 6 questions for sure, and I'm sure that I can achieve those 6 questions. So 6 questions net correct. Probably get there and start from there, right? So have this sort of saying that if you let's say solve about 5 questions, you've hit the 85th percentile. I'm basically looking at last year's level of difficulty. If the paper becomes easy, then it becomes easy. Then you're looking at 6. So 1 question at a time. There is, and I'm also suggesting that you should not get stuck. That is how you solve the paper. But I think that you can go back and when you redo the question, figure out, is there any concept that you want to revise? Do the revision. Sir, I'm getting, sir, should I do 2008 previous year also? I don't think so. I think it's not needed. I think some of the DLR sets are good. I will not recommend the 2008 for the verbal. For quant also it's fair. I think but quant questions recently I've seen is more aligned to 1990, but you have time, you can solve it. So I'm getting more and more conscious about D days near, resulting in poor performance. Okay, don't make any causal connection. Let's not say all this. A is causing me to happen. Everybody is conscious about CAT. Who is not conscious about CAT? Everyone is. But let's not blame your consciousness about an examination as a reason for the poor performance in the last few mocks. Let's not jump into those conclusions. How are you making this one? Your performance in the last few mock is, I think that it may be simply because the last few mocks that you've taken would have been a tough test. Who knows? So just focus on your prep. In VRC, if I attempt more than my accuracy goes down, and suppose if I try to maintain my accuracy and attempt less, any small mistake pull down my score. I think that's not how we look at this. No, why am I saying that more or less? I am saying only this, that I am looking at a question set on my screen. I'm going to make the best decision. I will not hurry on anything. The biggest way to save time in the CAT across the section is not to waste time getting stuck in a question. Rest, you do stuff at your pace. Nobody can do faster than your normal method. No, you just can't. You have to do at your pace. You can't hopefully improve your drastically in the next 25 days. They're not needed. So all that I'm suggesting is that there is no need to do over analysis per question. That's probably what you're doing, Sahil. That you're doing over analysis. I'm just keep on doing at my pace. I'll make good decisions, especially the decision for me to say that I'm going to come back to the question later. Make those decisions, I will be good. Sir, I was following a strategy of RC in 28 minutes, V in 12 minutes. In this strategy, I'm able to attempt 18 questions on average, but with low accuracy. In a recent norm, I attempted all VA question giving 2 minutes. All right, fair enough. I'm when I'm saying that RC in 28 minutes or VA in 12 minutes, these are all rough guidelines, right? There's no strict guidelines. So sometimes you end up solving the RC in 30 minutes. Maybe you solve about 3 passages. I'm just giving rough guidelines in terms of this time that you can spend. Please make your decision strategy has to be very simple. Is that your strategy is very simple. So let's not start the CAT by saying that I'm going to solve 3 sets, 4 sets, or 4 RC or whatever, or 3 RC, all the question. You can always, for example, in your case, what you can do is that you can still select one passage that you're going to do later. So this is probably what I would recommend for those who want to select passage, right? You look at the first 2 passages. Out of the first 2 passages, pick the one that you want to read. Okay, one of them you read. Look at that passage with the next one. Pick the one that you want to read next. Then another 2 one. Just keep on making the decision and then do your VA. Or start with the VA, come back and do it. If you have the time to complete the paper, you have the time to complete the paper. Otherwise, it's okay. Sir, I'm in my I'm 10, 10, 9, and 10, 12th in graduation. Can I get call from ABC at 90th percentile? I'm a general now. Not depends. I don't know that you will be able to achieve that. For example, definitely not with IIM Calcutta. Bangalore required, I think Bangalore has got 8 marks for work experience. So that should be under the reality. And for IIM Ahmedabad, no, I think that you have to get more. So I only got 9 marks for attempting all the questions VRC. Attempt rate high rakhun ki sir. You are attempting 9 marks, attempt all the questions VRC. Jabardasti thodi na attempt karna hai. So I think that any time when you try to do something different, your score is going to dip, right? But you don't try too many things. I think what you have to do at this point in time is you have tried a lot many stuff, right? You have listened to my advice, you listen to somebody else's advice. At this point in time, it's time to stick to one idea. Stick to that one idea and make it do well. Whether you have enough in your head, you've got trying to solve all questions in VRC is torture for you. So then you know, I'm just going to deal with 3 RC passages and I'm going to solve one VA question. That's fair, right? You stick. So what percentile can I set if in quant if I'm getting 20 plus marks? If you're getting 20 plus marks in quant, it'll cross the 90th percentile. So quant 90th percentile last year was 18 marks. Scale score. Can I attempt cannot attempt more than 3 passages? Fair enough. The only way you are not attempting more than 3 passages, even I'm saying, I think there are 2-3 reasons as to why people don't have. Though you read the passages fast or you want to finish reading the passage. So you don't understand the passage completely. So for every question, you have to come back. That's one. Or for some reason, you're getting stuck. But I'm saying whether you are attempting 3 passages, it is fine. Just don't try to hurry yourself. If you are attempting 3 passages, we have got good 10 minutes per passage, right? And you can do VA in 10 minutes. So you've got enough time to spend time in the passage. But then don't get stuck in questions there also. That's all I'm suggesting. You still have the basic logic saying that even if I, let's say, read the passage, does not mean that I can nail all the questions. Whichever question confuses me, I'm not going to spend unnecessary time, even if let's say I'm doing 3 passages. Maybe, just maybe, you have just enough time to look at the 4th one. Maybe not. I haven't read any article throughout. Can I start now attempting CAT this year? Yes, you can. No, nobody's stopping. So if you want to look at articles in the CAT, so first of all, I'm guessing that at least you have gone through all the recent CAT paper, so one passage will be from natural sciences, social sciences would be there, some humanities passages. You can still read. And if you have not read an article throughout, you can 25 days, you can still read. Otherwise, you can just solve RC pass, up to you. So I score better in VA section when I take prime CAT, but drops in CDC. It's not like CDC is any different from prime CAT. I think name is only different. So, but I think it should be a mindset there. Sir, mind-blowing VRC 1000 course. It has helped incremental more or less my quant is suffering. What to do? So quant matlab kya hai, Kiran, is that a simple काम करते हैं ना आप. So for quant, let's just ensure that we know the previous CAT paper questions. Well, at least I know the concepts. I know how to solve all the questions. Definitely from 2017, 2021, maybe going back 1992, 1999. I know all the concepts. That's what you look at. Sir, I will complete BCom a year later because of my backlog. Do I still have a chance to top college? Yes, you have. So how many rough sheets are allowed in CAT? They give a booklet, which I believe that they give sort of A5 size booklet, which is, there are enough paper. Okay, guys, I think that I've addressed, sir, should we read RC questions first and judge the difficulty? Will this approach benefit anybody? I think you'll have, if so, to me, it is fruitless exercise trying to come up with some logic in terms of how I'm going to ditch an RC passage. So the best bet is that at the end of the day, if I can read and understand the passage, I should be able to solve the questions. So your decision largely, rather than questions, should be based on the passage on the screen. Can I read the passage? So in the introduction of your course, we asked those, you haven't said anything about philosophy passage. When is the passage CAT actually really asks about philosophy? Well, even if there is philosophy, how to analyze CAT mocks? Well, analysis of CAT mocks, you redo all the question once again. That's what you have to do. You've got some question correct, some question wrong, some question did not solve. Don't look at the explanation. Explanation tells you what the right answer is. Explanation does not tell you what your problem is. So first I need to understand. Look at the question that you got wrong. Redo those questions. Look at the question that you missed. Redo the question. And then you'll understand sort of your potential score, what you could have got. And then look at the solution. Then look at whatever video solution. That's when learning happens. Sir, 85, 85, 71 non-engineer, what minimum percentile should have to get chance of black key? So if you want to get a C, 99.7 percentile overall. So that is ensure C. With 85, 85, 71, I think that something are gone. Not much prepared for ERC, is still possible to score good. Of course, of course. It's not complicated. No, VRC is not complicated. DLR is not complicated. So if you are someone who was not really prepared well, I think the source in 25 days should be a pass CAT papers. If I don't know particular meaning in an RC, how can I handle this? If you don't know the meaning of something that you read, then you don't know the meaning. Something that you read, right? So that's it. So if you don't know the meaning, then you don't know the meaning. So you can't, but what can you do about it? You just move on and hope that whatever word that you don't know, it's not going to make any difference. Call it X and just move on. So Smriti, sir, I'm trying the rounds technique in quant, but I'm able to answer only 10 questions. Even a few easy questions are taking 4 to 5 minutes. What should I do now? If easy question is taking 4 to 5 minutes, I think a little bit of revision is needed. So if you're getting about 10 questions, we are almost touching about 30. If you can get all the 10 questions correct, we are still very close to about 97 percentile. So don't change the rounds technique, right? So the easy questions are taking so much time. Whatever is the easy question should be easy for you, right? So I think that is important to understand. Your easy questions. So if you're taking 4 to 5 minutes, then it's not easy for you. So to say that easy questions take 4 to 5 minutes is a sort of a misnomer, because then that is a difficult question for you. So in the examination, behave in a particular fashion. List down, let's say, the topics that you are little, so topic that you don't know at all, just leave it. Topic that you're very comfortable, manage. The beach wala jo topics hai, so revise those. Redo the questions once again. Aditya, I was following a strategy in RC 20-minute. Okay, this I have addressed. Okay, I've addressed that. Sir, I'm scoring 75 90 in prime CATs. How much can I realistically improve in the 4 weeks? You can improve a lot. 75 90. Realistic improvement is what is realistic? Realistic is you can improve. I have always seen that improvement of, I'm sure that 1 question per section is an easy improvement, right? So that's about 9 marks take, because I'm sure that a post test you can do much more. So I can still look at something like a 99 score. That's like crossing it. So don't give up. So sir, for passages, I'm having trouble with questions and not understanding the RC. I'm always confused. If you don't understand the RC, you've got a problem with the question. Sai Raksha, definitely. Hanathas, definitely. So you are, so you have to, I think there are a lot many reasons as to every single paragraph has got some idea. Be very conscious when you read stuff. So maybe let's say that, okay, so you may not be able to, let's say, solve all the 4 RC passages, fair enough. But let's say 10 minutes per RC passage, okay? And when you read it, even if let's say spend about 5 minutes, 6 minutes, just understand the passage and then go to the question, but don't waste time in questions, right? So that's what you should do, which should be good. Can you suggest an action plan VRC Jinai? It's a Jinai, then you are someone who said that you did not do much. 2017 to 2020 to 2021, 2021 passages questions first in, let's say, in 3 days. Next, go to 2020 questions, 2019 questions, 2018 questions, 2017 questions. Simple plan. What number of questions getting right make me land good percentile VRC? So VRC, if you want to get, let's say, 90th percentile, you need about 28 marks, which is about 9 questions. And imagine out of the VA 8 questions, you got 5 questions right, you have to get 90th percentile. Let me repeat this. There are 8 VA questions. You get 5 questions right. That is 24 marks. 24 marks is already 85th percentile. Let me repeat. VA, sorry, I'm making 15 marks. Sorry, what am I saying? What am I saying? My math is going for a toss. 8 questions, 5 questions correct, 15 marks, right? And then if you want to hit the 90th percentile, you need about 13 more. That's about 4 questions. That will happen. So if you want to hit the 95th percentile, about 11 questions. Net correct in VRC. Any more? Okay, I thought this was great. It was great chatting with you guys. Thank you all. I think time is already, I have exceeded 7 minutes already. And I hope that you guys will focus, keep your focus on yourself. Don't worry about anything else. Just do your duty. And I'm very certain that on the day of the CAT, you'll at least give yourself a chance to do really well on the day of the CAT. There is no need to just do stuff. Don't think. Thinking is a waste of time. Just keep on doing. You know for a fact that you know your capabilities, right? You know you can do. This is just the test is just a reflection. You know that you're preparing for the day where amazing things going to happen. Goodbye.